Welcome back to the Pharmacy Tech Unfiltered Podcast, where we pull back the curtain and share the real stories of pharmacy technicians, the raw, unfiltered truth about this demanding, high-pressure job. I'm your host, Elena, and if you're a pharmacy tech, thinking about becoming one, or just curious about what it's really like behind a counter, you are in the right place. Today, we're talking about something that I know a lot of us face on the regular: angry customers. Now, let's be clear. This job isn't all sunshine and rainbows. You are dealing with prescriptions, insurance, doctors, patients, all while trying to keep it together when someone is screaming at you. It's part of the job that no one really prepares you for, and it can seriously take a toll on your emotional well being. Today's letter comes from a fellow pharmacy tech who had an encounter with an extremely angry customer. It's a pretty intense experience, and I think it's one a lot of us can relate to. Dear Pharmacy Tech Unfiltered, I've been working as a pharmacy tech for a little over 2 years now, and I've had my share of stressful days. But this one was something else. It was during the holiday rush, already a stressful time, as you know. I was working at the register, and a customer came in demanding a medication that wasn't ready yet. I told him it would take about 30 minutes. Standard protocol, nothing crazy. But this guy, he didn't take it well at all. He immediately started yelling at me, calling me names, accusing me of being incompetent, and telling me I was ruining his holiday. And that was just the beginning. The more I tried to explain, the angrier he got. And before I knew it, he was full on screaming in my face, shouting in front of everyone in the line. I remember feeling like I was going to freeze up. It felt like everyone in the pharmacy was watching, and I couldn't get away from the situation. I was doing my best to stay calm, but honestly, my heart was racing. I kept thinking, this is ridiculous. Why is he taking it out on me? Finally, after what felt like forever, he stormed off. I had to hold myself together just to finish the rest of my shift. But that interaction stuck with me for weeks. I couldn't stop thinking about how someone could treat me like that just because their prescription wasn't ready. I felt so small and unimportant after it was all over. Anyway, I just wanted to share my experience. I know this job can be tough, but some days it really feels like it's more than I can handle. First off, a huge thank you to our anonymous pharmacy tech for sharing such a personal story. I think a lot of us have been in situations like this, where you feel powerless and completely drained after an interaction with an angry customer. That's the kind of thing that stays with you. But here's the thing. While these kinds of situations can feel like a punch to the gut, there are ways to protect yourself emotionally and mentally. So let's talk about some strategies you can use to keep your emotional armor intact when dealing with customers like this. First and foremost, set boundaries. I know. When someone's yelling at you, the last thing you want to do is to get into a confrontation. But this is your emotional health we are talking about. When someone crosses the line, you have the right to stand firm and set clear boundaries. When I was working as a tech, there were times when customers would get heated, and I'd have to pause, take a breath, and remind myself, I don't have to tolerate this. If they start yelling or getting personal, I'd say, I understand you are upset, but I can't continue the conversation if you are going to shout at me. And if it escalated, I'd call a manager to step in. You don't need to carry that burden on your own. Next up, listen, but don't absorb. Sometimes all people need is for someone to listen. Even though they might be angry and frustrated, they want to feel heard. So take a moment and listen to their side of the story. But here's the important part. Don't let their frustration seep into you. When I had customers getting upset, I made it a habit to nod, make eye contact, and let them vent for a moment. It was important to show empathy, but it was just as important to remind myself that their anger wasn't my fault. You have to mentally detach yourself from the situation while still doing your best to help. Speaking of empathy, use it as a tool. Now, I know this can be tricky. You are already dealing with an angry person, and the last thing you might want to do is to empathize with them. But hear me out. Showing a little empathy can actually de-escalate the situation. People don't always want solutions. Sometimes they just want to be validated. Even if they are yelling, you can say things like, I get it. I would be frustrated too if I were in your shoes. Let me see what I can do to help you. It doesn't guarantee the situation will calm down right away, but it can make them feel like you are on their side, even if the problem is out of your control. And finally, take care of yourself. Look, pharmacy work can be emotionally draining. We are not just filling prescriptions. We are dealing with people's health, their problems, and sometimes their tempers. So after a tough interaction, it's important to reset. Step away if you need to. Take a walk, breathe, do something that helps you clear your head. You don't have to carry their anger with you once the situation is over. So when dealing with angry customers, protect your emotional well-being by setting boundaries, listening actively, showing empathy, and making time to recharge. You don't have to carry the weight of their anger. You are doing your best, and that's what counts. A big thank you again to our anonymous pharmacy tech for sharing their story. If you've got an experience you want to share, or if you just need to vent, reach out to me. This podcast is all about building a community where we can be real with each other and support one another. Drop a comment, share your thought, or let us know what you're going through. You can also hit up our email at pharmacytechunfiltered@gmail.com. It's totally anonymous, and I'll be reading your stories right here on the podcast. Check out the description section for a free download on how to deal with angry customers. And if you enjoyed today's episode, or you think someone else needs to hear it, make sure to share it with your fellow pharmacy techs. We are building a community of real, unfiltered voices that deserve to be heard. Don't forget to hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. Take care, keep your emotional armor strong, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.